Hello, hello. Listen, I'm not gonna front, and obviously, I mean, I could have put a hat on or try to hide it, but I was taking a lovely full moon bath, and I got lost in love like air supply in the bathtub, like a true Cancerian. And so after I did, it was like an everything bath. If you know, you know, whether you're taking an everything shower or an everything bath. But if you know, you know. Oh, we need new. It was an everything bath. And then once I was done, I was like, I'm going to sit here and relax for a minute. Well, I got out of the tub at 2:01. So then I set up the equipment and get dressed. So I believe in transparency, and that is what happened, and that is why I'm late. I'm not even going to blame it on Mercury retrograde. It was me and my bathtub lost in love together. I hope you can all hear me. There we go. All right, gonna call back all my power from anyone using it without. I'm gonna call back all my power to me now from anyone using it with or without my permission. It's so much further away from my face than you think. I've got a lot of fire in my chart. I like the fire. I have since I was little. Loved campfires. I'm good at like starting fires, not illegal ones, but I can start fires on a whole bunch of different levels. But yeah, no, I can like figuring out how to get an actual campfire or fireplace fire without a starter log. I'm your girl. So Anastasia, hi. Girl, get in the bath. You can watch from the bathtub. I have conversations with friends from the bathtub all the time. I definitely lived a primitive lifetime because I'm a little bit of a pioneer woman. Everybody, when 2020 was happening, and we were all making our zombie apocalypse teams for like, who do we want? I have to say, I was kind of at the top of the list of everybody's zombie apocalypse team. I was told by one friend, who by the way was like in a specialty branch of the services, wink wink, he's like, you're running the commune, you're cooking in the commune, you're gonna kick ass. When the zombies come, you're not flinching. You can start a fire. Like, you can calm the people. You can provide trauma support services after taking out zombies. And I thought it's so funny how like my life has led to a place where my particular skill set in the voice of Liam Neeson, which I'm not going to even attempt, is top of the list on a zombie apocalypse team. But, you know, in case everything goes shit sideways, holler at your girl. All right, that's enough of that. So I am wet out of the bath with wet hair. Kind of nothing going on here. You get me how you get me today. But boy, this full moon literally happened on my... Oh, let's make sure I'm still here. Okay. This full moon happened on my Mercury at the top of my chart. So needless to say, I didn't go to sleep today till like 6:30 in the morning. I was not able to sleep. I was up in the middle of the night. And yeah, I could live in a bathtub too. Totally get it. I've been known to take hour-long baths and like make the bath water hot again. like set up my laptop, watch a movie, yeah, do my nails, the whole nine. But this should be an interesting check-in today, because again, that full moon, that mercurial energy, and as we speak, let's check. I don't know why I said that in the tune of Let's Dance from David Bowie, but I'm sure that's some kind of neurospacey thing. Okay, so as we speak, Mercury is still in retrograde. I saw an inordinate amount of videos. Let's talk astrology, people. No, it's a tarot Sunday, but oh, I heard my New York. I saw an inordinate amount of videos claiming that Mercury was direct as the full moon was hitting. That is incorrect. That is incorrect. As we sit here and speak, it is 10 hours since the full moon hit. Over 10 hours. We're getting closer to 11. Okay? We are closer to 11 hours since the full moon, and Mercury still is in retrograde. So if you're, there's a lot of bad actors. There's a lot of bad information out on the internet, on the interwebs. One of them had like over 300,000 followers on TikTok. And I was like, this has to be one of those like astrology for fun, armchair astrology for views. Nothing's correct, but it gets a lot of views accounts. Nope. This is somebody working as an astrologer. I'm not going to say who it was or exactly what their video said, but let's just say they were saying that Mercury was going direct as, no, is it stationing? Sure. But it's still in retrograde. Now, will the next couple of days unfold very interestingly? Sure. But we still have Mercury in retrograde, but it's stationing. And kids, if you're in membership, you're probably tired of hearing me say this. But when Mercury is, any planet is either going into retrograde or coming out of retrograde, it's like walking around the pool with your friends when you're a kid to get the water to go one way and then deciding to stop and go the other way. And that force of the water against you, that's how powerful the stationing energy is. If you have stationing planets in your chart, you may not know, but that's something we're also going to do in membership. Membership is getting good. I hate being over solicitous, but I just want to say, we are meeting every Friday and Saturday in membership. Every Friday and Saturday is the first Friday and Saturday of the month. That's a public 2-part live. I go once in the evening for the West Coasters, and and for the people who are up late wherever, and I go once noon the next day to make sure I'm getting all my Eastern Hemisphere loves. And anybody that other time is just too late. If they're a 4 o'clock in the morning waking up person, then 8 o'clock at night is too late. Hi, Flower Beauty. But we are on a roll now. It's been a couple of months. And in membership, if at the 2 highest levels, you get every Friday and Saturday. But there's 4 levels, so there's many different price points. But we're doing a learning series based on conversation we had the other day in membership. We're going to start doing an astro jam, because people were asking, like, is Aries the most rare rising? And I was talking about how Scorpio is the most common birthday, actually, even though they're uncommonly unique people. But those could be old stats. It used to be that Scorpio was the most common birthday, but just in the United States. So we can look and tie those to holidays and social things. Aries would be a middle of the summer conception. So that could be due to heat, or that could be due to, other activity that would we could be physically tired from summer physical activity, right? there's other things to do, right? So it'd be really interesting, but we're going to talk about all kinds of like whatever in the Astro Jam, but that's membership. And then there's tons of other things. Like there's a Discord so that there's community available to you, especially right now while times are a little like, can be stressful because the world outside is the dumpster fire. There is a Discord that's 24/7. And that's for members, and you don't need me to go live. You don't need me to convene everyone to create that sense of community. It's there all the time. So, and of course, like you get your chart, and then there's other stuff. I'm going to be having the holiday party. Give me till Wednesday because other stuff's going on and I'm pretty busy. But give me till Wednesday and I'll have all the details up. If you did the holiday party last year, leave a comment or you could talk about it in the chat. I always have the chat replay. If you're watching this in the replay, first of all, thank you because you guys are the main crux of my views. But also watch it with the chat replay. If anyone was at the holiday party, if you could put your experience, I am confident enough to know what happened last year to say, go ahead, put your experience either in the chat or whatever. But if you are the top 3 levels of membership, the holiday party is just a bonus for the year. And then I think I charged like $5, $4. Was it $4 last year for anyone else? But we gave away so much. We played virtual escape room, which was so fucking cool. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. We played Astro Family Feud. We split up into teams in private rooms. It was fun. Anyway, so there's lots of good stuff. And the first level of membership starts at $3 a month. And there's a lot you get for that. So if you are new, welcome. And we're going to start going through the energy check-in. I am here every other Sunday live doing an energy check-in for like AstroTarot, really, because I'm a professional astrologer, so I can't do the tarot without thinking about like what's in the sky. And they absolutely usually correspond. They coordinate, right? In true Pluto and Aquarius, they absolutely coordinate with each other. The holiday party was so much fun. Great. And so when we're doing that, I'm going to remind you of the energies you may be feeling. When I'm doing that, I'm really talking about your rising sign. And whenever you're seeing anything on social media and it is saying like, oh, Cancer, this is your year, or this is going to be a good month for these 3 signs, they can only really, if they're an astrologer, if they're a psychic, then whatever. Then that, if it's tarot or it's psychic ability, then that's while it can be astrology adjacent, we're in the club, we're all fam kind of thing. You have to understand that it a lot of people don't know their rising sign, and it creates more views to just generally say this sign is going to be experiencing a good month or a good year. What they are referring to is your rising sign. Otherwise, they can't know what the transits would be to give you that information. It's the only way that we can look at transits. Like, it's the way that I do through the houses for any kind of like full moon, new moon, the Mars retrograde, which there's a 3-part. If you haven't watched that is till February 23rd, and we will feel the effects after that. There's 3 parts. It's all heavily time-stamped. So go watch that if you haven't. But yeah, we're going to go through the energies. And when I'm doing tarot, it's for whatever placement. But if I'm talking about like the energy that may be in your chart, then I'm talking about, your rising sign. But as far as like the actual metaphysical energy, it's whatever placement. And sometimes it's just because you're here right now and your guides want to get you a message, because I'm just pulling in what I get. I am a conduit. I hope you can attend to. It's usually on a weekend, and I try to make it midday so that it's not butt crack of the morning for the West Coasters, and it's not 1 o'clock in the morning for people on the other side of the world. Okay. Are we ready? Okay. Again, who knows what could happen? That full moon, all that mercurial energy, sitting right on my Mercury, right at the top of the chart. All right. Let's start looking. I'm going to use my Tarot of the Druid something. Can't think. I'm pretty sure Nikki knocked the box off, so. Let's look. We're looking at Aries first house energies. If you have a lot of energy in the first house, or your sun moon is in the first house. If your final dispositor is Mars, that's something else we did in membership. That was for all membership. There was a class. You got a little worksheet. But also, if you're just hearing this, and if I say anything that doesn't resonate, don't try to make it fit. The last thing I am here to do is give anyone anxiety or dysregulate them because you're like, oh no. Don't do that. Don't take on something that's just going to stress you. Okay, when I do these, I'm taking one card for just a general, what do your guides want you to know? Then we're taking a card for, thank you, Juan. We're taking a card for love, just relationships in general, communication, and then a card for like money / work, career. Okay. Four of Swords. Listen, Aries. The Mars retrograde is trining, right? We have Mars retrograde in Leo. So anything in the same element is going to trine. Anything in the same modality is going to square unless it's in the opposition, right? So 2 are going to square, 1 is going to oppose. So we have Mars and in Aries in retrograde, which is in Leo, which is asking you to rest. And here's the 4 of Swords, right? So the 4 of Swords is taking spiritual rest. It's taking sanctuary. It is the rest that we voluntarily go into. We are co-creating the rest. The Hermit is really the one that we're like, I've had enough of this bullshit. And we go into hermit mode, right? The 4 of Swords can often happen when all the energies, all the circumstances kind of make you rest, and you kind of say, okay, I will rest. Hi, Michael. I am reading for because I'm doing tarot, it's whatever placements. If you have Aries energy, then the reading could be for you, right? And you can listen for your moon, your sun, and take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Okay. So the 4 of Swords, usually there is, where do we have the 4th sword here? Okay, so normally we see 3 swords above the head, and the 1 is below, and that is the sword of Eccles. I'm saying that wrong, but you know, those who know. And so here we have contemplation about the rest that we're taking. We have contemplation about the delay. And that's what Mars retrograde is supposed to be for. And because it's a sword, even though it's thoughts and communication, right? You know, we have Mercury still in retrograde, no matter what you're saying on TikTok. Stationing, yes, but still technically in retrograde. And also the Mars retrograde. Both are trining your sign. Both are trining, which is just unrestricted flow, feeding your Aries energy. So, and it's really hard to tell an Aries, lay down, don't do anything, take no action. Sit back and just be an audience member, right? But everything is probably coordinating spiritually, environmental stuff, you know, possibly relationship stuff to just have you sit. But there is something to be, there is some message about how you speak to yourself, right? Your thoughts and your words. It's funny, my daughter is an Aries Mercury, and I say that to her all the time, and I know it annoys the shit out of her. Just being honest. But I'm like, watch how you talk to yourself, because you're listening. She's like, it's a joke. And I'm like, I know, but you say it 12 times a day. So it's just like if you tell a kid, oh, they're so bad, they're so bad. That kid thinks they're bad. Instead of saying, you're amazing, I didn't like that behavior, right? And separating the two. So when we do that, when we're raised like that, you know, and I'm just going to say I'm not the only one who raised her, then we start to do that to ourselves. We're Peter Puma. I'm sorry if you're young and you don't know who Peter Puma is, but YouTube is free. So you can go YouTube Peter Puma, Bugs Bunny. He'll give himself his own lumps. He's so used to getting the lumps that now he just helps himself. And so we are looking at a space where not only are you supposed to rest, but you're supposed to specifically concentrate on the words you use. And are you being defensive? What are you trying to prove? Who didn't defend you when you were younger? And now you have to, you know, hyper vigilantly advocate for yourself. And sometimes that comes off as defensive when it doesn't need to be. When you're with other people, and then when you're talking to yourself, it's worse than the comments that are said to you that make you feel defensive. Woo! Okay. Let's pull a card for love and relationships. Hey, Adva. Did I say hi to everybody? Tina and Vanessa. And Mary. Okay. I hope I got everybody. You are seen when you're here. You're seen. Okay. That's interesting. So, well, that's not subtle. Aries. There could be a situation, love or communication. We have triangulation twice here. One is the Three of Pentacles in reverse, and the other is the Three of Swords. So we are healing heartbreak, and we are healing triangulation. This doesn't mean that you just cheated on somebody cheated on you, or somebody was like, couldn't choose and they wouldn't commit, like somehow that there were three parties, right? Doesn't necessarily mean that. What it can very much mean is that you have had a repeated, good morning, Denise. You have had a repeated cycle of being in relationships, whether they were friendships, stuff with family, or romantic relationships where you did not feel chosen, or you thought it was going your way and the person like weirdly chose somebody else. I just want to say this to everybody. This is a collective message. If somebody can mark the time, that would be excellent. Most of the time, if it's going really well, I'm not talking about like there wasn't much interaction. There was 1 or 2 dates and then it fizzled out, right? Where you got ghosted. I'm talking about if you were having full-on connection with somebody and it was going really well, and then they pulled back, and then all of a sudden the commitment you couldn't get from them, they gave to somebody else. There's multiple things going on there, because there's, you know, individuals have different circumstances. But often, if that person has not healed their shit, they are not, and you are trying to help them You're going to give them all the love that they never got. You're going to give them the environment to fully feel safe to heal, right? And that is amazing, and you are a fucking beautiful person. And they still choose somebody else. And you're trying not to be petty, and you're trying not to be judgmental, but you're thinking, that person's not that great. And like, if it was the fact that you were funny or an intellectual, or, you know, the physical chemistry was great, or they kept talking about like features that they liked of you, and that person doesn't have any of that going, and it just doesn't make sense, and you think, was I lied to the whole time? I'm going to tell you a little life secret. Often, somebody wants everything about you, but who they have to be on a regular basis, not temporarily, not in the beginning, not on dates, right? Who they would have to be on a daily basis to feel like they are worth who you are as a person is too much. And it is easier to stand next to somebody that doesn't make them feel like they still have a ways to go in their own healing. Somebody who lives their lives taking accountability, somebody who lives, right? And if I'm talking to you, if you can hear my voice, then I am talking to you. You're somebody who's taking accountability. You're trying, or else you wouldn't be here. Quantum physics says you would not be here. Quantum entanglement. You come into this energy because that's where you're at. You don't want to manipulate. You don't want to blame. You don't want to chase after somebody that isn't worth your time anymore. You're here to heal, right? And so when somebody, everything is going well, and then all of a sudden they pick somebody else, it is because they did not feel ready for who they had to be to stand next to you every day, 24/7. And it is easier to feel a little superior to somebody who's a little further behind in their healing. That is extremely common. And the way that you'll know that what I'm saying has applied to you is even when they are in that relationship that they chose over you, you might hear from them. And it's more than friendly. So don't sit here and have a lifetime of, I don't get chosen. Don't sit here and think that there is something intrinsically just not enough about you. First of all, this is a collective message, but this started in the Aries reading. Aries, there's nothing not enough about you. Or too much, or whatever it is. That's not what it is. You didn't imagine the connection. It was just easier. And they don't trust themselves not to fuck it up. They don't trust themselves not to hurt you. I cannot tell you how common that is. And you will always hear from those. That's how you know that I'm talking to you. I'm not sure what happened to that. I think Shauna was trying to say hi, and by accident, you're good, Adla. You didn't do anything wrong. That was a technical. It's Mercury still in retrograde and it's stationing. I just fixed it. Seriously, everything's good. It's Mercury in retrograde. That wasn't on purpose. Okay, let's get to money. And your part of your rest, Aries, is to break the emotional and mental. Shauna's having a very rough weekend, so that could have been her cat walking across the keyboard. The basilisks got into the pipes in the girl's bathroom in her Hogwarts castle over there. So she gets all the grace in the world right now. You're good. Let's draw for career. Aries, your healing cycles of being not enough are feeling not picked. And with Mars in retrograde in Leo, it is very much about, please go watch my Mars in Leo and my Mars in retrograde videos and watch the part specifically about Mars in Leo, because that's where we're at. You can wait to watch the part that the middle one is mostly about Cancer. But the first and second have, and it's all heavily time-stamped. Go watch that, because it is about how we self-validate. We're supposed to take this time to figure out however somebody else was validating you, now you're going to give that to yourself. And that includes times when people just, and you can be like, I didn't imagine that, Susie. More than once, somebody, it was me or another person, and they chose the other person. Still not about you. One day in membership, we were going to have a deep spiritual healing conversation about environment is not just physical. It is how you humanly, how you do human resources. You are in charge of HR in your environment. And who are those people? Okay. Aries energy, first house energy. We have Queen of Swords and a Nine of Swords here. You may have to defend your position a little bit at work right now. Again, we're going to be careful in the words that we use. When we get the Queen of Swords, the message there with the Nine of Swords is that to defend yourself, less is more. Say less, fam. Don't worry about over clarifying. Just say your truth, and then like if somebody else is being an a-hole and you're like, by the way, authorities at work, by the way, other coworkers, don't believe that person because they they're full of shit, or they're lying, or they made this up and I have the proof. Don't get on that end of it. The Queen of Swords stands on her truth, and then she doesn't say more than she has to. She's very direct. Don't play politics at work. All right, I'm done with that. That deck is too much. Too much. No, I'm not even going to grab that deck next. Let's just do the Centennial. All right, Taurus. All right, guys, you guys are in charge. It's your turn to watch me. No more collective messages, because this will take 3 hours. That's why I only do this every 2 weeks, because the metaphysical messages are just chock full, especially today. Oh, I want a London fog, and I didn't make myself anything to drink. All right, Taurus, second house placements. Ooh. What in the world? If Venus is your final dispositor, if you have a stellium or a sun or moon in the second house, regardless of whether it's Taurus or you have Taurus energy, or this message just feels like it was meant for you, don't take anything that doesn't resonate. We have another 4 swords, motherfuckers. Mars in retrograde is really about that life. And it's telling you to rest. It's also saying that there's communication. If you feel like you're waiting on a phone call, waiting on a conversation, if you feel like you had a conversation in the last 2 weeks where somebody was going to say something and then they didn't, and maybe out of your, Taurian tenacity, you tried to pull it out of them a little bit. I'm just saying, wait till Mercury goes direct. And here's my thing about any planet going direct. Hey, Brady, any planet going direct. I'm going to say that when a planet goes direct, give it a few days, because stationing is also, it can be kind of wonky. It's very powerful. And sometimes too, when it's Mercury, it's almost like word vomit, because it feels like it was being held back, right? So if you're the person waiting to say stuff and you've been waiting, I would still give it another couple of days. That's me. That's how I operate. But I have a very strong Mercury run chart. And so I have learned over my many years to not just leap pounce when Mercury is done. Okay, so you could be getting a conversation soon. You're not crazy. That person wants to say something to you. There is conversation coming, but there's still this rest period. Now, I'm not saying the conversation won't happen until after February 23rd when Mars goes direct again. What I am saying is that while we are going to have Taurus, you're going to have some squaring to your placements, especially if you are early Taurus. January 1st, we have Moon-Pluto conjunction in Aquarius. It's at 1 degree. Across the chart from that, we have Mars retrograde at 1 degree in Leo. Okay, and so this will be squaring both Scorpio and Taurus early. That's pretty powerful energy. And then Cancer, Mars moves retrograde into Cancer on January 6th. Whatever this is about, that was so important. The action is going to happen fast. The conversation will happen. All of that. It may not all happen until mid-January, but it's kind of better that way. So if you're having a hard time not expressing and not following through, and checking that off your list is what I'm hearing. Take to pen and paper, write it down someplace, have the cathartic conversation with a friend. But wait. If that's you that wants to say the things, and if it's you waiting to hear something, you will. It might be closer, where it might be a more clear and more of the message you want to hear if you have to wait till mid-January. Let's look at love, relationships, communication for Taurus, second house placements. See how fast my hair dries? It was like soaking wet when we started. It's my secret. My hair is not straight. Okay. Not supposed to do that many cards. All right, let's look at these two, because those are the ones that... This is very interesting. Something could feel like it's not working right now. And I'm not going to lie, Taurus people. Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. If this message feels like it's for you, something is just not working, and it feels like you might have a big decision. Uranus is running through your sign right now, Taurus. Pluto has finally left a trine to the late degrees, but now it's working into squaring Taurus in the early degrees. So while Virgo placements are just getting the break from that unfettered, unrestricted flow of energy from the trine of Pluto to Virgo placements, late degree placements, Taurus, man, you guys are doing a lot. When Uranus finally moves completely out of your sign, I'm going to be insanely happy for you. You just had Jupiter. You just had the nodes not long ago. You've had Uranus is going on its last year of a 7-year transit. And Pluto has been trining 16 years, and now it's going to square for 20, right? These are all transformative, good, supportive transits, especially for Taurus. But if Taurus has spent decades getting a reputation for being stubborn and not moving, and I say all the time, asking a Taurus to make big changes is like asking a redwood to uproot and walk out of California. Right? It's not in their nature. So Uranus has been uncomfortable. If you're in those mid degrees of Taurus, you have a little, you've got quite a bit of a break, right? If you're in the late degrees or the early degrees, or you have multiple placements in Taurus, in those decans, then yeah, you're probably feeling a push for change. And I'm just gonna say, the more you resist the change, hi Amanda, the more you resist the change, Tauruses, the more uncomfortable it's gonna be. You know, change is the one constant through life. In our resistance, when we feel physical resistance, like an immediate physical reaction and a resistance, it's usually where the most transformation lies. I'm the most healing. But I'm not going to lie, for the last 6 years, you guys have had quite a few prompts from universe to kind of get uncomfortable, to move you out of stuck energy, and not just for one situation, because, you know, when enough happens, a Taurus will move out of that stuck energy. But what universe is kind of setting up to spike here is that it's not like a one time, and now I never have to do that again. I hope I never have to do that again. It is trying to adjust you so that you just have a toolbox set up for when change comes that doesn't feel so dysregulating. This is a big relationship choice here. You can choose to stay, but it's not working. You can pick whichever one of those wands you want. But I think if you pick the more comfortable one, the one that's easier, other things in your environment may, not a guarantee, may get less comfortable, because universe is not probably going to support what doesn't serve your highest good. All right, let's look at work, money, career. Okay, maybe not as much money as you would like right now. Wait till the Mercury retrograde, and possibly, you know, don't forget the Mars retrograde is also squaring Taurus right now. Right? Taurus, listen, if you feel like this year beat your ass, you know, while universe yelled world star, I would understand that. I would have great sympathy for your position, because as a Cancer, that was me 7 years ago, right? 8 years ago, 9 years ago. I'm just telling you that when Mars moves into Cancer, the retrograde moves into Cancer beginning of January, you're probably going to get an offer that's going to make you feel more secure with money, more secure with job. Okay. Gemini, happy Gemini full moon. Happy everything is mercurial run right now. Mercury is just like running shit. Who runs the world? Mercury. Right now it does. The moon has moved into Cancer. Like it's at, I'll tell you right now. I like checking the transits as we are all gathered. Yeah, it's at 0 degrees of Cancer. Mercury's still in retrograde, no matter what you hear on TikTok. Fuck me. 40 minutes and I'm only on Gemini? Who's in charge of me? Somebody else be in charge of me. All right, who put bets that this was going to be a two-parter with all this Gemini energy? On me, who's already a lot of Gemini energy. Yeah, I'm sure. Taurus sun. Yeah. And I have, you are not crying wolf. I went Taurus, rising sun, strong placements, and where you have Taurus. When I say the energy of the second house, this is specifically people with Taurus placements, and it could have felt like it's a pressure cooker for at least 6 years because it's trying to move you. It's trying to gently get the roots out of the soil and the redwood. It's your understanding that Juan is in charge. Yeah, Juan, do your job. Control me better. Damn it. Damn it, Juan. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. We're fun, by the way. If you're new to this community watching this in replay, you want to hang out with us. You'll get to know everybody. It's literally like, it is in the club. We were all fam. Okay. Gemini, shocking. You have a 2 of Wands in reverse. Now, the energy so strong in the sky right now, right? We have 2 tense things. We have a full moon and we have the Mars Aquarius Venus opposition. So we have 2 oppositions, Sun and Moon, and we have the Mars and Venus opposition. Then we also have a square from Saturn to Jupiter, right? We also have the trine from Mars to Mercury. We also have Neptune was squaring the moon. Neptune is squaring the sun. Neptune is sextiling Uranus. There is a lot in strong, without a lot of wiggle room. Juana's in charge of the club. I'm absolutely trying to, what's that word? Be a bad influence on Juan, right? And get him to fully join TikTok. And now, who knows what's happening with it. So he might not know in the club, we all fam. I don't know if he knows that, but he could look it up. There's a lot of strong energy right now. So because of that, we are having a lot, we have the 2 of Wands for Taurus just now, right? We have the 4 of Swords for Aries, and then the 4 of Swords came up for Taurus. We had the 2 of Wands for Taurus, and now the Two of Wands just came up in Gemini. There's such strong energy, and nothing is, as I love the way Lori Rivers puts it, nothing is incongruent. Even if they're not talking to each other, there's some kind of ping, right? There's some kind of master weaving of a tapestry when it comes to astrology and energies. So Two of Wands is your general message. There's a decision to be made. One, and right now while Jupiter is in retrograde, it's probably harder to make decisions. When Jupiter is in Gemini, it creates a lot of creativity. It creates a lot of mental acumen. It can create a lot of, you know, on the collective, innovations, discoveries, technology. But when it's in retrograde, well, Jupiter in retrograde can be missed opportunities, to be honest. So that's not a terrible thing. But in our minds, because it's in a mercurial ruled sign, it's in a Mercury ruled sign right now, it can feel overwhelming. The headspace can feel overwhelming, especially if you couldn't sleep last night because your brain would not shut up. Your thoughts would not be quiet. So Gemini right now may feel pulled into not just like a decision, and one is really good for you and one is really bad. You may feel passionate about both of these avenues to run down. And I say run because it feels almost feels like an urgency where you want to run down. I'm going to tell you to touch grass and wait till Mercury is completely out of, you know, I'm going to say wait till Mercury is at 7 degrees, just like a couple days. So we're not in that frenetic stationing energy. And then think about where you can see yourself in 5 years, whatever that's about. But I don't think this is an easy decision. And I think that if you have labeled yourself or other people have labeled you indecisive or an overthinker or an overtalker, a lot in your life, you could be kind of putting it on that. But it's not just that. This is something, listen, Gemini has a lot of duality. You could probably do well in either, but you can't do both, which makes the decision harder. There's passion for both, makes the decision harder. Wait, touch grass, and honestly, if it's not me, somewhere, go get a 15-minute reading. Have somebody help you confirm what you're thinking. Not astrologically, but like metaphysically, go get a 15-minute reading. You're not crazy though. You could do well in both. It's why the decision feels harder. Okay. Love, communication, relationship. King of Pentacles. Okay. I'm going to have to pull a second card. Do I, the one that landed on my chest or the one that landed? Okay, we're going to go with the one that landed on the table. So the Seven of Cups came out sideways, which is like fantasy, too many decisions, possibly a little delusion here. And there is the King of Pentacles. Gemini, you may have a history of wanting things to be better than they are, of like loving the fantasy of somebody, but not the reality of somebody. And so now, I think that there's somebody that actually is stable and they might not be too good to be true coming your way. Especially with Jupiter in retrograde. If that is transiting or aspecting your Venus, if you have, especially if you have like an air Venus, or it's in a sextile, like if you have an Aries Venus or a Leo Venus for some reason, because retrogrades happen and people have Venuses that are not within 30 degrees of their sign. Chances are that person is not too good to be true. Let's look at work and money. And then on to Cancer. I'm going to go to Virgo and then do a part 2, because nobody should be in a tarot reading for 5 hours. I was a little afraid of how busy the brain would be today and the mouth. Okay. We have... There is an opportunity that you could just fall into. I need you to check your P's and Q's, Gemini, because this is how you're going to know I'm talking to you. If you're saying to other people, or you feel like, oh my God, this opportunity was fate. I have the Ace of Wands in reverse. So if this is not thrilling you, but you feel like this is what universe wants me to do, even though I don't feel as called to it, let's not forget that that 10th house is vocation, and a vocation is a calling, right? There's job, career, and vocation. And because a lot of us grew up with a vocational school nearby, that, you know, vocational school can often teach courses and certifications that society at large would deem a lower value career or job, because it doesn't, you know. But let me tell you, there are a lot of 6-figure hairdressers, there are a lot of 6-figure mechanics, there's a lot of 6-figure chefs, right? But the thing is those people don't have a choice. That is their calling, unless they're following in somebody's footsteps or they're just bored, they don't know what to do. That is a vocational school is about what you're set up skill-wise to be called to do. And that 10th house is your vocation. It is your calling. It is your higher purpose. It is conjunct your MC. It's that, you know, line right into higher self. If this has anything to do with the choice you have to make, I'm going to tell you right now that it's going to feel, there's something here that's going to feel really easy if you are not getting that shock through your spine. I'm gonna say a hard no to that. I'm gonna say a hard no. Maybe I'll do part 2 later. I don't know. I have so much to do. I'm not mad at it. One can expect that when everything is kind of like cresting on your Mercury that's at the top of the chart. Now we are looking at Cancer. I'm gonna use the Night Goddess Tarot. By the way, if you're not, I just mentioned Lori. I feel like I did. Maybe I was thinking of her in my head. If you're not following Lori Rivers on YouTube, but also please follow her. She's got a level of Patreon that's free. And go follow her on Spotify and wherever else there's podcasts. I don't know. There's something going on with Spotify. It might weather the storm, but just make sure you're following her and you're supporting her on her podcast, not just the YouTube, because she is a wealth of information. It can really help you prepare for just the life events that none of us are controlling because they're collective. And she's she's an exemplary person. She's all creme brulee. She's big mush on the inside. She cares so much. But she and I come from the same school. Like, do no harm, but also take no shit. And that's okay. Healing, healing does not mean you have to be a... Healing does not mean that you have to be a doormat and you have to turn the other cheek at all times. No scandals today. Boring. only interested if Socks, if Socks the cat or whatever the cat's name was, is still around. And I don't think it is. Welcome, Bill. Thank you for being very mindful and very demure. We have the strength in reverse Cancer. I don't know how I feel about that as a Cancer. I think that's a funny handle, but if I'm honest, I would be unfazed if it was real. I've had proximity to celebrity a lot of my life because I know people who are related in one way or the other. It's just kind of how I grew up. And so, or maybe it's part of my chart too. I just don't. Now, if it was Bill Nye, okay, then I'd get excited. Okay, like I'm smart. We have a Nine of Swords and the Strength card in reverse, which makes the Strength card make a lot more sense. Cancer, you can rest. You could put the Ginsu knives down. You could put your sharp tongue down. You could put your pincers down. This isn't about you being weak. This is just about you allowing support and help. I almost kind of want to cry. This is about you not having to feel so hyper vigilant. 24/7. Okay, this message just came through. Cancer, 4th house placements, and if this just resonates, because a lot of people deal with this kind of thing. If, you know, Cancers can be kind of tough, and they're more likely to walk in or step into the nurturing, can handle crisis. They are, you know, privately sometimes can be like emotionally, you know, and also dysregulated when their feelings are hurt. But if you give them, if you give them a crisis and people they love are involved in that crisis, Cancer is going to show up, right? They're going to be protective, nurturing, and they're going to just handle it and they'll deal with it later. If that has been a lot in your life, and you could be a Sag with a 4th house sun and this could resonate, right? And you think it takes a lot to get me dysregulated. It takes me a lot. I'm not a very anxious person. Maybe you have other placements and you are, but I want you to take the rest time of Mars in retrograde in Cancer. And I want you to think about, are you 90% in regulation, or is the way that you feel regulated such an ingrained trauma response that it would not, if we looked at a scale of what a regulated nervous system looks like and an unregulated nervous system, you would actually be slightly unregulated, but it's your normal. It's your baseline. Because you care for others and then think, I'll just deal with that later because these people need me. And you've been doing that so much that the deal with later kind of never comes because life is life. Life is lifing, right? There's a big message in here. It's time for you to rest, and it's time for not just for you to rest and let other people help you and take support and all that other stuff, even though you might not have a lot of trust because you're a Cancer and I get it. But also, I want you to take the time to deep dive into the idea of whether your regulated state of your nervous system is truly regulated, or is it just regulated for you? God damn these messages today. Bill, don't make me block you. Or I won't block you and I'll just start talking about white water. We don't ask if I'm single here. That's not what we're here for. It's my job to make everybody feel comfortable, and that includes me. Okay. Tisa. Hey, babe. Maricela. I talk too much. I never shut up. I had to re-establish the do not disturb on my computer because shocker, I'm going long. Yeah, this is a big message for Cancer. Okay, relationship, communication, love for Cancer. My hair keeps getting pulled while I'm doing the Cancer reading. Whoever's got my voodoo doll, stop it. Yeah. All right, so those flew out. Everybody saw it. Maricela, don't encourage them. Okay, 10 of Wands. 9 of Swords in reverse. This was the 9 of Wands in reverse, just as a reminder in the general message. The Death card in reverse. And Queen of Swords in reverse. So this is you feeling like you've had enough and you might be a little bitchy and you're not losing sleep over this situation anymore. And this may have to deal with somebody who's trying to come back in. I feel like you're going to be direct. Here I am like, you can rest, put your defenses down. You're not losing sleep over this anymore. You're healing anxiety around this. There's a big Queen of Swords in reverse. You're either not talking at all, you're going to say less. You're not going to go out of the way, because Cancer tends to like meet people, anticipate their needs, and then meet them where they're at to comfort them before they have to get uncomfortable. And so you're not doing that anymore. I don't know if you're going to be like an outright bitch, because that's not how this reads with the other cards. But you're not going to help them out of their feelings. You're not going to, be their emotional, verbal surrogate anymore, is what I'm getting. This is changing a whole cycle for you. Oh, I am very interested to see what happens for you in the spring, love-wise, Cancer. I'm a bad girl. I didn't do any like major reads this month because I've been busy, but well, maybe, I don't know. I don't want to say before Christmas I'm going to do that, but who knows? This either is prompted by somebody coming back that you've already dealt with, or this energy brings somebody back that you've already dealt with. My chest is tight. Like, I feel almost like repressed anger. And with Mars in retrograde in Cancer, again, please go watch those videos because it will be so helpful to you, I promise. They're free. That's what that Mars retrograde is for, is to really kind of unpack resentments. And Mars retrograde, especially into such emotional, identity validation based signs. It only happens every 2 years, but when it happens, and I say this in my deepest Gandalf type stance, you are a fool. A fool, I tell you. I don't know, that was a terrible Gandalf, but you get it. If you do not take advantage and deep dive the core reasons, and again, I'm not going to go up, but go watch the videos, at least the first one, because you know what Mars, when it's unhealthy, you know what that does to us? It creates inflammation in our bodies. It creates dysregulation in our bodies. It is the old parable, the words escaping me right now, I know it, but hi, Patricia. It is the old adage of pouring poison for somebody else and drinking it yourself. When Mars is unchecked and it is not processed, and that is not because you're an asshole, not because you're violent, not because you're yelling at everybody, that is a misunderstanding. It is because you have not processed, you are not feeding your Mars with your Venus, because that's how that works. That stuff we're going to go over in membership for sure. When you're Mars, it makes you physically unhealthy. And I don't mean a cold, and I don't mean like you're a little tired one week. I mean serious illness that is connected to inflammation. Take advantage of the Mars retrograde. Okay. Leo. I don't want to use that deck for Leo. What deck do I want? Ooh, pretty for Leo. My 15-year-old is cooking in the kitchen and it smells so good. Yeah, I don't want you to be sick. You know what I hate the worst of being an astrologer? It's not having to tell somebody tough news, because I can do that in a space where we can just sit in the dark, right? And we can adjust our eyes together. Hi, Sparkle Mint. The worst part is seeing health issues. The worst part, does it suck to have to tell somebody, I don't think this relationship is the thing? Yeah. Maybe the job isn't the thing, right? But telling somebody that there's serious health issues, that's the fucking worst. I don't want that for you. Utilize the Mars in retrograde, people. Spicy today. Bye, Teresa. All right, Leo, main message. Again, I'm telling you, the energies are so strong. Thank you, Flower Beauty. That means everything. I might copy and paste that comment and put it on like my website. Okay. Yeah, I don't like the dump and run. It's just not for me. It doesn't make anybody else like, you know, they have a different method. For me, I can't lay my head on it. It's just me. We have again communication that's like bubbling at the surface, Leo, that's not happening right now, and you feel it and you're not wrong. Sometimes I'm here to just confirm and validate, so you can sit at home and listen to me be ridiculous and go, I fucking knew it. Okay, we have an Eight of Swords in reverse. I love the Eight of Swords if it's in reverse. This is getting rid of anxiety. Whoever you're waiting to hear from, ooh, that was probably a Freudian slip. Mars is in retrograde in Leo. We are not waiting for the validation from other people, right? So we are letting go of the stress and anxiety. Just know it's coming, but don't reread text messages, Leo, and don't go over the relationship, and don't sit there and think about all the things that you did for them that didn't warrant how they treated you, because it's not about you. When I was on Lori's podcast last week, there'll be a new one probably tomorrow or Tuesday. I want to take a nap just looking at how busy she is, so I don't know if it's tomorrow or Tuesday. But when I was on her podcast last week, one of the things we talked about is like social conditioning, or like somebody saying to you something and it's an epiphany, right? And she was very eloquent, and she talked about like a bird, or like a homeless person saying something, and it just, you know, to you in just these moments, and how it can happen and the way it transforms like how we think about things. And I brought up Parks and Rec because I am me. So my guides like to keep me humble. I was watching Parks and Rec, and yes, this has to do with the Leo reading, and you know, Anne wants to have a baby, and Leslie says to her, but don't do sperm donor because I don't want you to give up on love, right? And she keeps saying to Anne, you're so smart, you're so pretty, you're so wonderful, you know, there's someone out there for you. And it puts the burden of why she wouldn't or would find someone, right, based on her qualifications of what a woman is supposed to be. And I've watched that show a million times, but it wasn't until this last time when I was like rewatching it. Sometimes I'll just put like The Office or Parks and Rec or Modern Family on in the back while I'm doing like heavy. First of all, my neurospicy works better with an extra noise. I know that's weird for some people. That would make other people crazy. It's just how I work, or else I will hear everything outside. So I almost need like a white noise of something, and I don't have to watch it. I don't have to look up. It doesn't distract me from what I'm doing. Anyway, but this time when I watched it, because that's 10 years ago. That show ended 10 years ago, no? Almost over 10 years ago. And so when she's saying that, I just thought, oh my God, we didn't blink when we heard that the first time. Right? There's some kind of like social conditioning, social something here that you're going to be letting go, Leo. And it changes, like you're not going to go over what you gave to them and why that should have made them act different. Should you have been treated better? Fuck yeah. Do you need to spend so much time going over every detail to find a reason why? No, that's what we're letting go of. If the reason why can't be found within you and how you have better boundaries, or how you vet people better, not because you did a shitty job before, but just because you're a different person today than you were yesterday. That conversation is coming also. Oh, damn these messages. All right, within an hour, you'll know whether I'm going to do the second part tomorrow, or I feel I feel so bad. Sometimes I think next week, or not next week, because next week isn't one of these. In 2 weeks, I'm going to start with Pisces and go backwards. Because I feel like Libra through Pisces always has to wait. Because I'm very verbose. I don't say overly verbose anymore because someone healed me from that. Okay. Relationship-wise, you have the Queen of Cups in reverse and the Tower in reverse. I think you were about to overgive to another relationship, another person, whether this is family, friend, lover. And you're kind of avoiding a crash that you don't need right now. Especially with what's going on in the sky, Leo. You're going to be avoiding a crash you don't need to have. Because you're not going to overgive. You're not, because, you know, Leo is about the heart. Leo rules the heart. It's just as much as a Queen of Cups as it is a Queen of Wands. If you needed confirmation that you're not being a cold bitch and that you... Leo shines, right? Leo's... I used to be a hair and makeup artist. Some of you already know that. And I ended up becoming friends with a lot of models, dancers for like professional football teams. Very extraordinarily beautiful women. Stunning. Not all of their friends. Some of their friends use them for the proximity to be in that group that has the super hot girls. And as somebody with Pluto on my ascendant, as somebody who was usually a little older, and as somebody who just had no aspirations to be the hot girl in the group, the funny girl. I know, like, I like being the funny girl. So I have a lot more fun and there's a lot less pressure, right? So I could usually smell them out. And I feel like with Leo, if that analogy like hit hard, like people who feign friendship, or because you have a hot sibling or a hot other friend and people kind of like schmooze you to get into your group because there's stuff going on around a Leo. There's a certain energy, and some people want it through osmosis. Some people don't know how to create it for themselves, so they want to vampire off of you. Your life, your lifestyle, that energy. You already know this is a cycle for you, Leo. Whether this is a friend or a lover or somebody, this is somebody that you are about to show a kindness to, and I'm going to tell you, just wait. Wait and see if they really have your back. You're avoiding a crash that you don't need. You're doing the right thing by having that Queen of Cups in reverse. Okay. Money, work, career. Ooh. Six of Wands. Listen, you would be surprised when Mars is in retrograde. It can be really good for money and career because it helps you to re-strategize. We had the King of Wands come out sideways and the Six of Wands come out in the upright. We are taking the passion and we are putting a plan with it, Leo. It is financially and career-wise very, very good for you. You all need the other noise too. Neurospicy. I wonder how many of us are neurospicy. you know, when you have a lot of, when you have fire energy, if you have a fire moon, fire Venus, fire Mercury, fire sun, fire rising, it can be a little harder to meditate, and you need active, in case you're somebody who has all that and you're like, if you're somebody who needs a second noise, if you need a white noise or else you're distracted by everything else, you also probably need like meditation walkthroughs. I'll try to find the exact video. My lovely friend Vita, who's Rooted Arts, if you look at my suggested channels, I think it's like Gemma, Rooted Arts, which is Vita, and Lori. I think those are the only three. But she has some really good where you're like walking down the stairs and she's giving stuff for your brain to do, and next thing you know, you're like in a deep like place, and you're able, like, you can see the colors or whatever that means for you, like your clairs are being activated, so, which I absolutely love. She's brilliant. She's doing a lot of permaculture now, but I'm pretty sure those videos are still she's a healer 24/7, whether, no matter what the subject is of her channel. But yeah, the neurospicy, yeah. So active, so don't be mad at yourself if you can't just sit there in silence and meditate. I went to a hippie school, and while all the other kids were doing that, I was always in trouble because I was flinching and looking around. I couldn't keep my eyes closed. It was just not natural to me. So there you go. Active meditations. I will try to find the one from Vita's channel. She has, my favorite one is you're like walking down the stairs and there's doors. Amazing, because it's super hard for when I find one, because not only do I have big fire energy, but they trine, so it's that unrestricted flow of, and then the Mercury. You know, which makes me a carnival ride, which is either your cup of tea or it's not, and that's fine. I'm okay with either, but you know, it does, like meditation, it's just, that's not happening. Okay, Virgos, Tower card came out sideways. It's kind of like, do you want to let stuff fall down so that you can clear the obstacle, or are you trying to keep it together a little longer because you're just, it's not now. Like, you're happy if the obstacle comes down in a little while, but not now. If the obstacle's all, like, if that one last thing has to crumble down so that you have a clearer vision, like I can see clearly now the obstacle is gone. Because when we see the Tower card, and this is a very gentle Tower card with the squirrels and the birds and a happy little place. It's like Bob Ross painted this fucking tarot card, right? So, there's still shelter inside the tree stump here, right? But when we see the Tower card, the thing is that is not really like the full, that is not your world crumbling. That is something that's a makeshift obstacle that was there when you needed it, and you don't need it anymore. So it's sideways, so you can like set this off and let it all burn down and dance around the fire if you want. But if you need rest right now, you have a choice. If you're like, yeah, let that, you know, we don't need no water, let the motherfucker burn, that's fine. But you might be like, can we do that in January? Because right now it does not feel like I have time to unpack everything that's going to happen next. But you probably psychically know, Virgo, also 6th house energies, that it's about to happen. There's a 2 of Swords that comes with this, and so that is, you know, that is really very intuitive. So that is your decision to make. That's how I know, because it came out sideways and the 2 of Swords came with it. It's your decision to make. I'm sure you will make a list of pros and cons, and you will figure it out, Virgo. And you will handle whatever happens. But what I'm saying though is that this is like a self-starting log. This is a self-starting fire. It's not so much like it's happening. The Tower moment is coming. You know, like Queen Latifah, you can set it off if you want and when you want. You know it's eventual, but you have a little grace time. And the South Node is about to run, you know, you've only got another, is it a month? Give me a second, Virgo. I love having the second computer. I'm very loved. This was gifted to me. And I protested, and they were right, and I needed it. Yeah, so you've only got a couple more weeks, and the South Node will move into your sign. And then a whole bunch of stuff that's going to let you decide, do you want to do things the old way, the unhealed way, or do you want to, like, up your game? There's just as much growth for you when the South Node runs through your placements as when the North Node runs. It's just the North Node is easier, right? Depending on your placements. If you love a challenge, the North Node is easier, but it's more, it's helpful. It's like swimming downstream with the current. But there's just as much growth as the South Node running through. I'm gonna see if like 3 weeks. I can't, my software froze, so. Love, communication, relationships. Virgo, we have somebody coming back, or you're coming back to something that maybe it just needs, and the Hermit is here. Okay, this is somebody coming back to you because you went inward. And maybe, I'm pulling a third. For a lot of you, when this comes back, you're going to be very fucking surprised that it doesn't light up your thighs, your sacral chakra, your mind. It just is not like, you might have thought about what it'd be like if this person came back around, if there was like healing in between. But you may have, as in true Virgo fashion, you might have flown too close to the sun, and the healing now just leaves you kind of lukewarm for the situation, but the revisiting of it and not feeling the need to jump on the opportunity is insanely healing. Those two things could be connected, like you're waiting out that energy just to see like that you keep feeling that way, that that's not like a false. Did you ever think you were over somebody and like you felt really good, and then something else happens and you realize that was just like maybe a little bit of denial stage, and you're not as fully over them as you'd like to be? I think you've experienced that with this person before, and so you need to let it kind of ride out to make sure that the apathy is long lasting. I feel like I can speak like that to my Virgos, and you totally get it. All right, money, career, and then we'll have to do a part 2. Please forgive me. As a consolation prize, I'm gonna, for not doing all 12 and being a big fat liar, because I said I would, I will give away a chart or a report. We'll do a little contest. We haven't done one of those in a long time, so stick around. And just remember, if you win a contest, you have to email me. YouTube gives me 0 of your information. Like Sparklemint is Sparklemint to me. I know nothing else about Sparklemint other than I freaking love that name and that they're a lovely energy because I have interacted with them for years in the comments, both in chat and on a video, right? But like, I don't know that person's email off the top of my head. I don't know, like, even if you're a membership, I can't do it. I have no idea about your financial information. They don't give us your real name. They don't give us anything, which is why there's a membership form. If you have joined membership and you haven't filled out your form, I can't send you this stuff. So if you want to participate, please know that you want a chart or a report and that you are willing to go to the contact on my website and email me so I can give you your stuff that you win. Okay, this is very interesting. I need another card. I'm just gonna take one from the middle and trust. Okay. There was a situation at work, whether this was like a social situation or like a connection that you thought you had to somebody that was also going to kind of like help you move up where you are. I think you've given up on that. There also could be like a toxic social aspect of work that you're like, that is not sanctuary. That is not helpful for anybody's corporate climbing. But you're not putting any more effort or any more worry into that. Actually, Virgos, I feel like this could be like the first brick on the road to either leaving your department, leaving the job. And for some of you, there could be an opportunity where you're actually stepping into like supervisor, management, upper echelons of the same company you're in. This is the first step. It's just completely pulling away from any kind of like social stuff or like Christmas parties coming up and it can get toxic. I don't know, like I've been to holiday parties where the most ridiculous things happened that I was like, oh my, I do not want to be social with these people anymore. And the funny thing is the worst of it was the human resources person. I won't even say it on here. So there could be like a toxic, I don't know if there's just one or two people. I'm getting almost like Eyes Wide Shut kind of vibe, like toxic social thing. And you're like, I don't want to know that. I don't want to be around that. I don't want to be even like associated that I was around that. I don't want, and hey, listen, if everybody's consenting and Eyes Wide Shut is your thing, have at it. Be happy. But I'm just saying for Virgo, although you guys are all closet freaks, that's usually in a relationship and not connected to work stuff. If that is what you're doing, good for you, have at it. And also probably not gonna, where you eat. Yeah, sometimes Christmas parties are like, in the words of John Ralphio, the worst. Like sometimes Christmas parties are like, yeah. I work for myself now, so I'm safe. I will not say the thing I was just about to say. Okay. Let's give away a chart or a report because I want to apologize for being a big fat liar and saying I was going to do all 12 signs when I knew there was a Gemini moon. I knew it was landing on my Mercury. I know my Mercury is like blah, blah, blah right now. And also there's a lot of healing energy with some of the other stuff, and that I would probably be waxing philosophical on ways to extrapolate the astrological energy right now to kind of give you the tough love talks and go all in. Yeah, see? Okay, it's not just... So, right? The Christmas parties are wild, yo. Yeah, I can't even say. And it was I was working for two different, because I was working in two different states. I've got some stories. And I was working for two different companies, and in both, I can't even repeat it on here. I was like, excuse me, no. No, I will not be doing that with either of you. Okay. I'm sorry, Patricia. I promise I'll either do it later or tomorrow. I think it's going to be tomorrow because this was a lot. And the thing is if I did it now, could I do it now schedule-wise? Kind of, right? But I kind of want to eat and drink. And the other thing is that, hey Zoe, is that I would be writing it in a little, I would be phoning it in a little bit because that was a lot. Like I'm clairsentient. So like when I was doing Cancer's reading, my chest was tightening. So it like physically takes a toll on me. So I don't want to half-ass your readings either, but I am going to give something away for being a big fat liar. Like I walked into this whole reading with soaking wet hair and obviously like not a lot going on here I got lost in love in the tub. And so now I'm tardy to my own reading. Has nothing to do with like computer stuff, whatever. I was just lost track of time because I love being in the tub. Because I don't lie. And now I'm finishing the reading saying I'm a big fat liar because I thought I was going to do all 12 signs. All right, let's use Astro Dice. I haven't done that in a minute. How many people we got on here? We don't want to have this take like 25 minutes, but okay. We're going to do a planet in one of the houses. So like it's either going to be like Moon in the second or Saturn in the third. So you're going to have to guess the combination. Okay? Astro Dice. Pretend I'm back in Vegas. One of those Christmas parties was in Atlantic City. So it was up all night and alcohol fueled. Not me. I don't trust anyone, so I don't really get sauced. All right. Unless I'm with a partner that I trust. Hey, Erica. I don't. Not a big drinker out in public. Okay. So no one's got so far. If you guys give me a second, I will like think about what I'm seeing, and you can try to tap into my energy, which will help the guessing for you. Okay, so I'm going to take a deep breath, try to connect yourself with my energy. Okay. All right. Let me double check just in case anybody just like randomly guessed or could tap right into the dice without me. So far, no. It's funny, Erica and Sparklemint guessed the exact same thing at the exact same time. Planet and house number. Thank you, Juan. Nobody so far. I will give you a hint. Nobody's guessed the planet or the house yet. That does a lot of elimination. And in like another minute, I will give another hint. And then I'll just I'll give you a choice of like 2 reports, or if you want a chart or like a bi-wheel synastry chart or a composite chart of you and another person. It's not going to come with explanations though. A chart is a chart. And the reports are cool, but they're not a synthesization. It's an ingredient list, not a what the recipe tastes like. But there's good information in it. It's free. Okay, I'm going to give it 30 more seconds, and then I'm going to give you guys a hint. I wish I liked the way that my hair dried when it dried naturally since it was soaking wet. I love this side and I hate that side. Just why I don't walk around with my hair like air dry. It's better when I don't have bangs too. So immediately regret it. I know I would. Ba-ba-ba-doo. Oh, I thought somebody had it, but it's not the right one. A couple of you are close. Okay, here's the hint. This planet, the house number, natural zodiacal order is ruled by, it's with its ruling planet. So the house number and the planet are coordinating. Sparkle Mint's got the idea. That's not the right one. But she's getting it, yeah. It would be Mars, because we don't have a sign here. We have the, right, wand, okay. Whoa. So we're not doing the sign, Sparkle Mint. You're doing a planet and a house. Erica, we're not doing, what I'm saying is the natural zodiacal order. So like the way Mars in the first, Mars is the ruler of Aries. Aries is the home of the first house. So that's what we're going with. Like Maricel is saying moon fourth. That's not it. It's okay. Now I'm triple checking. This is when it helps. We did a rulership class. Also, I go over that in, if you're in membership, there's the whole house learning series. And that would be, I can't believe no one's got it. I thought that was such a, like, somebody's going to get it like that clue. Think about your rulerships and then the planet. It's not a sign, it's a planet and a, it's a planet in its home. I'm going to give another big hint. In one of its home houses. This planet has more than one home house. I'm going to triple check to make sure I'm not crazy and nobody said it yet. It's very easy. 1 through 12 of the zodiac is 1 through 12 of the houses. And then you just have to think of what planet rules the zodiac. And we're looking for the planet that rules the zodiac in its home sign. 1 through 12 in the zodiac is 1 through 12 in the houses. Kisa, you have the idea. Adva, you've got the right idea. One person already got it, but I'm looking for another person to get it. We're having an astrological lesson. 1 through 12 is the same as the zodiac as the houses. 1 is Aries, 12 is Pisces, right? So map that out and then think about what is the ruling planet. Mercury 32nd. Erica, I like you a lot. I just want one person guessed it. I will give you that hint. I'm waiting for somebody that doesn't have a million reports and charts from me already. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I liked your other answer. That was funnier. Okay. Maricela, Adva, and now Anastasia got it right. It was Mercury in Jesus. Was Mercury in the 6th. And it definitely is the 6th, not the 9th, because there's a little dot. So Virgo rules the 6th house and Mercury rules Virgo. I know it could be different. Maricela said it first and then Adva said it, but they also have like a gazillion charts and reports. I will still give them something. They are frequent flyers, so I will give them a 15-minute extension on whatever their upcoming, especially Maricela, because she does a lot of timestamps. But I wanted somebody who doesn't normally, who I know doesn't have like a million, because they've been in the community a very long time. So Anastasia, you have to go to my website and then go to contact and be like, I won. And then I will tell you your choices. That was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. But I hope, did you all learn something? Hi, Gibbs. Did you all learn something? So so learning your planet, the planet rulers. Is very helpful. It's another layer. And if you are in membership and you haven't watched the learning houses 1 through 2, I would do that, because it gives you the base of all the house and the house systems and why houses and the history behind it. Because we're going to be doing next weekend, we will be doing the learning series, and we will be going over houses 3 and 4. So if you're in membership, that's there. Go through the videos. And if you're not in membership, please go watch the Mars series. It's heavily time-stamped. You don't have to watch every minute of all 3 videos. Watch the first one and then go find which ones apply to you. Listen, that is till February 23rd, and then the energy kind of still lingers after the effects of it. So you have time, but you know, Mars is only in Leo in retrograde until January 6th. So at least watch that part, because that's what we're dealing with now. Thank you. Gibson, I hopped right out of the tub and right to my test, so I looked like a drowned rat when this started. Aww. Yes. You danced around it a couple of times. Is it right to say Anastasia? Not Anastasia. The first one, right? All right, if you're new here and you want to leave me a comment after, but you don't want to be like social in the chat, that is fine. And welcome. And next week will be a general reading. A general reading and a tarot tip every other Sunday that I'm not here doing this. And I will finish these. It'll probably be tomorrow. But thanks, Maris. One side dried nicely. Next, every other weekend that I don't do this live, it'll be a recorded, just general reading. If it hits you, it hits you. Sometimes they're love readings, sometimes they're whatever. And also at the end of every one of those videos is a little tarot tip or a little spiritual tip. So you guys, it's very important going into 2025 and the Pisces explosion that's going to happen. There's going to be like everything in Pisces for a hot minute. That's a lot of Neptunian, Jupiterian energy and discernment. A lot of false news, a lot of purposely false news, besides misinformation aside, like bad actors, purpose. A lot of toxic spirituality is going to be happening. People are going to be having spiritual psychosis and thinking they're saving the world. So, we want to work on discernment. That is my goal for my community, is to help facilitate that you work on your discernment. And that is why that every other week I'm doing like a tarot tip or some kind of spiritual tip or how to like regulate or how to like work pendulum or something, so that you learn to like trust yourself. That's the most important thing. Discernment is tantamount to being able to trust yourself. Yeah. Oh gosh, yes, Gibson. Oh, Zoe babe, I've done all of that. I was a stylist and corrective colorist while I practiced metaphysics and astrology on the side for 30 years. I wish it did. It's not enough. The bottoms have been purple and pink and bleached and red and dark and everything. They don't curl. So this looks great, and then I look like I have an emo or a mullet when I do that, because there's not enough resilience in the bottom because it's been tortured. And I'm about to change the color again because I'm bored. Uranus in the first house. All right, guys, I love you. Know you love you. And I mean that. And if you are in membership, go check your email. Go check it. Go check your email. If you've been in my community for a very long time, go check your email, even if you're not in membership. But you've been in for a very long time, like you're an OG. Go check your email. Go follow Lori Rivers. And by next Wednesday, I'll have all the holiday party details out. The when and where, it's always after the holidays. I don't try to make you cram that into your holiday schedule. That's just mean. There's nothing party about that. And if you are interested, you are going to have to send me your email so I can send you get a party bundle and everything. Like I go all out for the holiday party. Because it's a private Zoom. It's not on here. So we can do all the fun things like the escape rooms. I grew up around it. I grew up around both. I grew up with metaphysics. And then I grew up around New York stylists. And then went to school for psychology because I don't want to do that. And then ended up doing it anyway and using the psychology a lot. And now I use all of it. And started studying astrology when I was 19. It's a Gemini, Mercury, more than one thing. Everything all at once, right? Yeah, I think that's it. Make sure you're following Lori. Go watch the podcast if you didn't. Yeah, the holiday party. Good. I'm glad you're excited for it again. And that stuff will be up by Wednesday. Also, I'm going to be introducing some other new benefits to community. by the end of the week. All right. Bye, guys. Go have a good Sunday. Don't be crazy out there. Mercury is still stationing, and it's still full moon energy, so people are overwhelmed and not paying attention, so it's extra important for you to pay attention. Be safe with your body, especially in cars. Okay.